Unbroken is a 2014 American war film produced and directed by Angelina Jolie. Written by Coen brothers Richard LaGravenese, William Nicholson, and based on the 2010 non-fiction book by Laura Hillenbrand. Unbroken, a World War II story of survival, resilience, and redemption. The film revolves around the life of USA Olympian and athlete Louie Zamperini. Portrayed by Jack O'Connell, Zamperini survived in a raft for 47 days after his bomber crash-landed in the ocean during World War II, then was sent to a series of prisoner-of-war camps. The film had its world premiere in Sydney on November 17, 2014, and received a wide release in the United States on December 25, 2014. The film grossed $115.6 million in North America, with a worldwide total of over $163 million. Plot: the film opens with Louie Zamperini flying as a bombardier of a United States Army Air Forces B-24 Liberator bomber during an April 1943 bombing mission against the Japanese-held island of Nauru. The plane is badly damaged in combat, with a number of the crew injured. The pilot, Phil, manages to bring it to a stop at the end of the runway thanks to an exploded tire. The story flashes back to Louie's childhood as a young Italian-American boy in Torrance, California. Louie is a troublemaker who steals, drinks liquor and smokes, to the disappointment of his parents. He is often picked on by other kids for being of Italian ethnicity. One day, Louie is caught looking up women's dresses from under the bleachers during a track meet. His brother Peter sees how fast Louie runs away and decides to train him to be a runner. As he grows, Louie becomes more disciplined and also becomes an accomplished distance runner, earning him the nickname, the Torrance Tornado. He qualifies for the 1936 Summer Olympics in Berlin, Germany. Louie comes in 8th and sets a record for speed in the final lap in the 5,000 meters race. Returning to 1943, Louie, the surviving crew and several replacements are sent on a search and rescue mission with a plane previously used for spare parts. During the mission, the plane's two left engines fail and the plane crashes in the ocean. Louie, Mac and Phil survive and live on two inflatable rafts. After 3 days, a search plane flies over but they are unable to get its attention. They weather a storm and fend off a shark attack while subsisting on rations, rainwater, birds and fish. On the 27th day, they get the attention of a Japanese plane, which strafes and damages the rafts but misses them. On the 33rd day Mac dies. On the 47th day, Japanese sailors capture Louie and Phil and they become prisoners of war. The Japanese ask Louie and Phil to tell them about B-class bombers. Louie tells they flew D-class and draws a picture of a radio. Then, Louie and Phil are sent to different prisoner-of-war camps. Louie's camp, Omori, in Tokyo, is headed by a Japanese corporal, Mutsuhiro Watanabe, who treats him very cruelly, in part because of Louie's status as a former Olympian and an American soldier. Watanabe is especially tough on Louie, beating him often. Louie is given an escape from Watanabe's torture when two Japanese newsmen give him the opportunity to broadcast a message home saying that he is alive after they learn the U.S. government classified him as Kia. When he refuses to broadcast a second message with anti-American propaganda, he is sent back to camp where Watanabe has each of the other prisoners punch him to teach him respect. After 2 years, Watanabe gets a promotion and leaves the camp. The camp is damaged when Tokyo is bombed by American forces. Louie and the other internees are forced to move to Naroetsu prison camp, where Louie discovers, to his horror, that Watanabe is in charge. The prisoners are now put to work loading coal barges. Louie, exhausted, pauses during work, and Watanabe tells him to lift a giant piece of wood and orders a guard to shoot Louie if he drops it. Louie successfully lifts and holds up the wood despite being thoroughly worn out and enrages Watanabe by staring straight at him in the eyes, who proceeded to beat him severely. At the end of the war, Louie and the other prisoners in the camp are set free to return to their homes. In the meantime, Louie tried to find Watanabe in his quarters but realizes he had fled back home in America. He kisses the ground and hugs his family. At the end of the film, there is a slideshow showing what happened after the war. Louie was married and had 2 children. Phil survived and eventually married his sweetheart, Mutsuhiro, but Watanabe went into hiding for several years and successfully evaded prosecution. In spite of being listed in the top 40 most wanted Japanese war criminals by General Douglas MacArthur, Louie lived out his promise to devote his life to God, eventually believing in Jesus Christ and forgave his wartime captors. Meeting with many of them, Watanabe, however, refused to meet with Louie. In January 1998, Louie had an opportunity to revisit his time as an Olympian when he ran a leg of the Olympic torch relay for the Winter Olympic Games in Nagano, Japan. He was 4 days short of his 81st birthday. The site for his leg of the relay was not far from one of the POW camps where he was held during the war. The closing titles reveal that Louie Zamperini died on July 2, 2014, at age 97. Cast, production, development. Universal Pictures purchased the rights to the book in January 2011. Having already acquired the film rights to Zamperini's life story towards the end of the 1950s. Early drafts for the film were written by William Nicholson and Richard LaGravenese, while Francis Lawrence was scheduled to direct. Joel and Ethan Coen were then tapped to rewrite the scripts after Jolie was named director. On September 30, 2013, Jolie was confirmed to direct the film in Australia. Jolie was paid a $1 million salary for directing the film. Walden Media was originally set as Universal's co-financer, but withdrew from the project prior to filming and were subsequently replaced by Legendary Pictures. The filming was based in New South Wales and Queensland, with scenes also shot in Fox Studios Australia and Village Roadshow Studios. Filming. Principal photography began on October 16, 2013 and ended on February 4, 2014, with post-production also being done in Australia. Some of the scenes were shot at sea in Moreton Bay on October 16, 2013. On December 14, 4 days of filming were completed in Werris Creek, New South Wales. Other scenes were shot at Cockatoo Island, New South Wales. Music. The official film soundtrack was released on December 15, 2014, through Parlophone and Atlantic Records. The film's score was composed by Alexander Desplat. The album also features "Miracles", a song written and recorded by British alternative rock band Coldplay, which was released digitally as a single on December 15. Reception. Box office. Unbroken grossed $115.6 million in the U.S. and Canada and $47.6 million in other territories for a worldwide total of $163 million, against a budget of $65 million. The film opened in North America on December 25, 2014 across 3,131 theaters and grossed $15.6 million on its opening day, including Christmas Eve previews, which is the third biggest Christmas Day debut ever, behind Les Miserables, $18 million, and Sherlock Holmes, $24 million, and the fifth biggest Christmas Day gross ever. The film was among one of the 4 widely released films on December 25, 2014, the other 3 being Walt Disney's Into the Woods, 2,478 theaters. Paramount Pictures' The Gambler, 2,478 theaters. And TWC's Big Eyes, 1,307 theaters. It earned $31,748,000 in its traditional three-day opening weekend. Including its revenue from Christmas Day, it earned $47.3 million, debuting at number 2 at the box office behind The Hobbit. The Battle of the Five Armies, setting a record for the third biggest Christmas debut behind Sherlock Holmes, $62 million, and Marley and Me, $36 million, and fourth biggest among World War II theme movies. It was the eighth film that earned $25 million plus in its debut weekend for Universal Pictures, and the fifth $30 million plus debut for an original movie following Lone Survivor, Ride Along, Neighbors and Lucy. Critical response. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds a rating of 51% based on 194 reviews. The average rating is 0.6. The site's consensus reads, "Unbroken is undoubtedly well-intentioned, but it hits a few too many of the expected prestige pick beats to register as strongly as it should." On Metacritic, the film has a score of 59 out of 100 based on 48 reviews, indicating mixed or average reviews. On CinemaScore, audiences gave the film an average grade of A on an A+ to F scale. The SAG nominating committee gave it a standing ovation after a screening. The score received a mixed critical reaction. Callum Hoffler of Entertainment Junkie stated, "At its finest, Unbroken is perhaps Desplat's strongest and most resonant emotional work since The Tree of Life or Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 2. Both from 2011. It comes off as bold, ambitious, yet intimate and sentimental all the same. It can be an elegant and harmonious exploration of human determination, drive and spirit." He also criticized numerous components, claiming that, in most cases though, the primary issue with the album is its lack of energy and vitality. There is many a time where the music seems to just sit in place, lacking major progression in character, motive or mindset. He awarded the score a final rating of 6 out of 10. Untitled of Soundtrack Geek acclaimed the album, stating, "This score is pretty great. It's been a really good year for Desplat. Godzilla and the Monuments Men at the top of the pile. But this is not far behind." He summarized with, "It is a turning point though for those who think Desplat is about boring bass rhythms and motifs. This might even get the haters to respect him as a composer." He awarded the score an 87.8 out of 100. Controversies. Prior to the film's release, some Japanese nationalists asked for the film and the director to be banned from their country, largely because of a part in Hillenbrand's book, which was not depicted in the film, where she describes cows were beaten, burned, stabbed, or clubbed to death, shot, beheaded, killed during medical experiments, or eaten alive in ritual acts of cannibalism by the Japanese army. A petition on Change.org calling for a ban attracted more than 10,000 signatures. In response, it triggered a Change.org petition by Dutch-Indonesian group The Indo Project voicing support for the movie, as they saw it as a reflection of what their family members in the former Dutch East Indies experienced in Japanese camps. Several prominent Dutch Indos, including author Adriaan van Dis, Doma frontman Ernst Jans, and actress Wiekie van Dort, signed the petition in support of the film. Another petition on Change.org calling for a release of the film in Japan, this time written in Japanese, gathered more than 1,200 signatures. The film was eventually released in Japan on February 6, 2016 by independent distributor Bitters and on a much smaller scale than originally intended. While Toho TOWA the usual distributor of Universal titles, had passed on releasing the film. The film received some criticism for omitting Zamperini's fight against alcoholism and PTSD, as well as his Billy Graham-inspired religious conversion. Accolades. Home media. Unbroken was released on March 24, 2015 in the United States in two formats: a one-disc standard DVD and a Blu-ray combo pack. Blu-ray plus DVD plus digital copy. See also: The Great Raid, a 2005 war film about the raid at Cabanatuan in the Philippines during World War II. To End All Wars, a movie set in a Japanese prisoner of war labor camp where the inmates are building the Burma Railway during World War II. Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, a 1983 Japanese war film based on the story of a Japanese POW camp during World War II. My Way, a 2011 South Korean war film based on the story of a Korean captured by the Americans on D-Day. List of World War II films. References. External links. Official website. Unbroken at the Internet Movie Database. Unbroken at Box Office Mojo. Unbroken at Rotten Tomatoes. Unbroken at Metacritic. Unbroken at History vs. Hollywood.